Hey guys, Gus69 from Metal Brazil, back at you with a contest entry. I had to do this because it's for Nathan from Metal Downunder over at New Zealand, a great metal brother here in the VC. I remember probably a couple years ago I participated in his first contest, and now I'm here again to support him. I will leave his link in the description below so you can go check him out. Awesome collector of different metal genres, and especially when it comes to female fronted bands and also female all bands. There is a question about this. I'll get to that. Actually, there are 4 questions to answer for this contest, and you can support him creating a video like I am doing, and the deadline is at Christmas. I think he's gonna do the drawing in the December 26th. So, first question. Okay, many of you guys know already because I talked about these several times here in my channel. One of the genres that I have more trouble to get into is black metal, especially the second wave of the Norwegian black metal scene, the second wave of black metal. The first one, I kind of dig it back in the day. I still respect that, but this new trend from the Northern Europe black metal, the raw black metal, I cannot get into that no matter I try. I picked an example, a band from Poland, not from Norway. From Norway, I don't think I have, maybe I have one or another, but I decided to pick a band from Poland, Polish band called Behemoth. So this is the oldest album that I have from them. I think is the first or second album. It's called Grom, and it is raw black metal. It's from '96. It's tough to get in that stuff, especially the guitars, very lo-fi sounding, and the vocals kind of harsh vocals that I don't like. But the same band, they evolved over the years, and they are more like death black metal nowadays, but they are much better. And I have this album, for instance, Demigod from 2004, and this one is much better. Vocals changed. It's more low register but guttural, not so squishy but more guttural, and these I can enjoy. Especially the instrumentals. I don't get much into their lyrics, but it's a good band, Behemoth. But I cannot stand the early stuff. And as you can see, the logo, it's hard. It's pretty much the same as Bathory, which was one of the first wave of black metal bands, Bathory, and they copied the same font type for their logo, but at least they changed for a decent logo. And these guys just played here in Brazil maybe 2 weeks ago. I didn't go there to see. Actually, my oldest daughter, she's a Behemoth fan. But as I said, she didn't know the early stuff, and the more recent stuff I can also dig it, but I just picked this as an example for the whole genre, that for no matter how hard I try, I can't get into that, like really enjoying or listening and then remember some of that I just listened. Yeah, for me it's very hard. Behemoth. This is a easy pick because it's a band that I used to love in the 80s. I thought back then that nobody was doing what they were doing, not just their music style, because it was basically traditional heavy metal when they started, but then they became composing more epic songs, and I loved them. Everything that they were doing, especially 4 or 5 albums, I was very into them, and they never played here in Brazil. So when I moved to Portugal in the 90s, I got the chance to see them live, and I found some things that they do during their show that I disliked it. Their attitude towards women and some of their poses, but okay, I was a fan. I finally got to see them live, and it was okay. I liked their music. Great singer. I loved the Eric Adams. Yes, I'm talking about Metal War. And this was the last album that I bought, studio album by them, Triumph of Steel. Actually, my first wife, gave to me this album on vinyl when it came out. I sold, as you all know, I sold my collection a few years later. But I musically was okay. They started repeating themselves with this album, and then I got to see them live a second time, and I left the show totally disappointed because it was like a replica. They repeat everything that they did in the previous show that I watched. All the talks to the audience, everything repeated like a robot. And their attitude again, and the things that they say, especially the bass player, I didn't like at all. So was very disappointed. And then they started releasing live albums after live albums. Actually, this was the last one that I picked. Hell on Wheels. This is from later on the 90s. This is the last album that I have from them. Sometimes I tried to listen what they were doing, but then they started re-releasing their previous albums, but instead of creating new music, they just recreated the music that they already put years back. So for me, they start being like a money grab band, only thinking about money, like Kiss, for instance, and that puts me off because was not genuine anymore, like a unique style that they have, the barbarian themes that I loved. That became, they tried to make that as a trademark for them, but at the same time they became commercial. I think was the two previous albums to this, they became a lot of more commercial because they were trying to get big in US, because they were kind of successful in Europe but not in US, so they became much more commercial. They tried to be the loudest band in the world. That kind of Kiss tried to follow what Kiss did to become a huge name in the scene. They tried to do the same thing, but playing heavy metal, of course. And I think that they failed miserably. And then they had a huge follow. They follow their music, fans, a lot of fans. But then they tried to manipulate their fans to only listen to them or only listen to true metal, things like that. And then that was very, very disappointed for me. So a band that I used to love, I remember in the 80s they were on my top 5 bands that I loved, and nowadays one of the last ones. But I still keep the albums that I have from the 80s especially, which are for me their best work. So Nathan loves female-fronted bands, and I decided to show 5 albums. The most recent ones that I have on my collection that has female singers or is a female band, but from Brazil, okay? Some of them I showed before in other videos, but anyway, I know that at least one band here Nathan knows very well, but I'm gonna show anyway, because I tried to pick the most recent stuff that I have, and they're not so recent, but anyway, that's what I have, and that's what I'm gonna show for you, with a little bit snippets from each one, okay? I will start with Revengin, with the album Cymatics from 2012. Actually, the first 3 bands that I'm gonna show are all from Rio de Janeiro. This band, this is their debut album. They play like a symphonic metal, a little darker, as for instance After Forever, a good example, or even the singer, her name is Bruna Rocha. She reminds me a lot of a singer that used to play with Theatre of Tragedy or Leave His Eyes, for instance. Good singer, good stuff, and I checked their YouTube channel, and they have been releasing some new music, but the new album never came. This is from 10 years ago, 2012, but probably they are about to release a new album, so I will get a snippet from the new stuff from them, because they don't have any good videos from this album. Revengin. Okay, next we have Hateful Murder with the album Red Eyes, their second studio album from 2017. They are like a melodic death metal band slash metalcore. Very good stuff. As I said, from Rio de Janeiro too. Their singer name is Angélica Bastos, and they have an album after this one, but I don't have it. But good stuff if you like bands like Arch Enemy, for instance. Now the last band from Rio de Janeiro that I'm gonna show. I showed them a few times in the past, but they are very good. I'm talking about Lydia. This album is called Immersion from 2018, and they play like a symphonic metal, even though they don't have many keys. But the singer Aline Happ has that kind of lyric, not operatic, but very beautiful voice. And if you like bands like Nightwish or even Evanescence, for instance, they are kind of mix of these two. Their second album, I have both, but this is the last that they put out. So this is the band that Nathan knows very well. This is the third studio album by them. Nervosa, as you gringos like to say, but here in Brazil we say nervosa. But when you say nervosa, it's much more beautiful. So it's okay. The album title is Downfall of Mankind. As I said, third and last, with as a trio, female trio. The singer Fernanda Lira, she left the band. Now Nervosa is a four-piece. They are from São Paulo, my home state, but now they are like an international band with members from other countries. Nervosa, Nathan knows. I know that Nathan got the Crypta new album too, with the singer Fernanda Lira. So good stuff, thrash death metal from Brazil. Okay, Nervosa 2018 I just showed, and the most recent album with a female singer that I have is Ignis Space, the Inner Source album from 2019, symphonic power metal. For me it's symphonic power pop metal, so they are kind of commercial, but good stuff. Another band from my home state, the debut and only album that they have so far, Ignis Space. I don't think I'm gonna get any albums on my Christmas tree. I don't even know if I'm gonna get a Christmas tree this year. But anyway, to get into the spirit of this contest, I wish I could have any, because I don't have any, so any album of the Swedish avant-garde metal band, female fronted Diablo Swing Orchestra. I'd love to have anything by them. I don't have it. They have 5 albums released, especially the first 3 albums, because they changed the female singer. She is good, the new one, but I prefer the previous one. She's more operatic and I like her much more. And I was checking on Discogs, and the first 3 albums were released on CD, of course, because they are from 2000s. Let me check here. Yeah, the debut album, The Butcher's Ballroom, is from 2006, but there is a reissue on vinyl from 2011 from the second album as well. The second album is Sing-Along Songs for the Damned and Delirious from 2009, but also reissued on vinyl in 2011. So both albums with vinyl editions. I would love to get those. And the third one was released in 2012. Its name is Pandora's Pinata, and so those 3 albums has vinyl versions, but they are very rare and expensive. They goes from $100 to $300 each. So, and if you can find it, because it's rare, especially the first 2, and they are amazing. I love them very much. I don't even have any of these albums on CD, and as I said, they changed the singers, the main female singer, because they have both female and male singers in the band. And the last 2 albums is with another, the new singer, female singer, and the very last album that they released is from last year, so pretty recent. So any Diablo Swing Orchestra, I would love to have them. If for magic, put a Christmas tree with one of those 5 albums, or especially the first 3 albums, any of it, I would love that. So that's it, my entry to Nathan's Metal Downunder channel. Please go check him out. Very consistent guy, love his music, and he's my brother from New Zealand. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this one, and Merry Christmas to everyone. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.